Mime twist.
This isn't an orchidectomy, it's a pressing method. By that I mean I'm making an animal with flower pressing, a method of preserving plants that's been around for centuries. But first, something that's been around for millennia. Orchids. They come in many shapes and sizes, but usually consist of petals. These attract pollinators and protect the sex organs. Sepals. These protect the petals and sex organs, especially when budding. Labellum, or lip, attracts pollinators and gives them something to hold onto, and the column is the reproductive organs. In order to preserve them, I need to dry them out, and being too thick, close together, layered or moving can affect that. So if it dries slow and unevenly, it will shrivel up and decompose while it dries, and look like this, which can make the labellum look like a tiny skull, which for orchids, and looking like other things, is quite normal, as there are several species that look like other animals, and even some intentionally. But for now, what's on screen is a flower press. But people are also known to use books for this, as just 3 things are needed. 1. Something that can absorb moisture and speed up evaporation to avoid mold. Paper's perfect for this. 2. Pressure spread over the flower so it doesn't crinkle or change its shape. And 3. Darkness to avoid bleaching and changing the colour. To see what would happen to orchids that don't dry quick enough while pressed, I did some tests. This one shows a slight browning where it was overlapped. And these, I believe, are too thick, as the moisture couldn't escape fast enough. Fortunately, I can still use these, as the animal I'm mimicking, the males, have a similar colour to this. Colour is important for mimicry, especially if copying an insect for pollination. And like said previously, some orchids do this by evolving a labellum to look like and smell like a specific animal, like a species of bee or fly. I've seen places where this type of mimicry is called bouillonné mimicry, but I don't know how used and recognised that is. Unlike Batesian mimicry, where a non-dangerous animal or thing looks like a dangerous one. Or aggressive mimicry, where a dangerous thing copies a non-dangerous one to deceive prey and potentially predators. Like the subject of today's video, whom has evolved an abdomen to look like a dorsal sepal. Alongside femurs that look like lateral sepals and petals. The insect will even move and place its legs in positions like an orchid to be as convincing as possible. The body acts like a labellum alongside its front legs that consist of the coxa. This acts like the upper arm. The trochanter is like the elbow. The femur is like the forearm. These front legs are also known as raptal claws. And have tibia that act like very quick, flexible hands. Unlike the tibia on its lower femurs that are more stick-like and used for travelling. On the end of every tibia is a tarsus. These help in locomotion and are covered in tiny hairs that allow them to stick to surfaces. Next is the head and its many sensors, like a cellus that can detect light and movement. A more information heavy sensor is its eyes and these can be used to compare two images to judge depth in 3D. These eyes have pseudopupils. This is a dark area that appears more dark than the rest of the eye, but is only relative to the source of light in the room and the viewed position, and isn't just one large pupil. Another sensor on their head is their antenna. These can act like tactile or touch sensors alongside being used to smell. I'm a tarsal, because I forgot some anatomy before I moved it. One thing I missed was the tarsus on its ractile claws. Following the same arm analogy as before, these act like fingers to help with locomotion as well as grabbing prey. The other thing I missed is also used to grab prey, and this is the tibial spines, and they line the femur and the tibia, and they grip and dig into whatever they grab. This colourful mantis is a female, but before this, it looks like this, which is a nymph, mimicking an assassin bug to avoid predators, which is a form of Batesian mimicry. Male mantis nymphs also look like this, as I make the adult male muzzle them. We can talk about what I'm doing, as flower pressing has a lot of history, but the practice is widely known for getting popular during the Victorian era, as during this time period it was being used for things like decoration and other forms of self-expression. The methods were also being used for documentation and research within the sciences. In order to make the image and to keep the pressed flowers from moving, I'm just using PVA glue and a toothpick to stick them down, as they're very light and can move very easily. The act of making a collage out of pressed flowers and even other potentially preserved natural items to make an image is called oshibana, and is recognized as a piece of Japanese culture that has been around for centuries. This word is widespread enough to the point where it's considered the name of the practice across the world and not just Japan. As a side, I never intended on making a male. It was a last minute choice I didn't consider I had until I made the female. This is for two reasons. One being, even though the colours of the damaged petals are close to the real-life counterpart, the males usually are made up of whites, browns, oranges and occasionally black, but this can vary. The other reason, and the main one, is the size difference. As a fun fact about the males of this species, they're really small, and a lot smaller than the females, to the point where it's very noticeable. Unfortunately, the petals I used to display the different outcomes are bigger than the well-preserved ones. It's less accurate, but curiosity got the better of me, and it allows me to talk about differences between the sexes. Another curiosity I had was what it would look like as a repeat pattern. And there you have both male and female of Hymenopus coronatus, also known as an orchid mantis. If you can't tell because it's not holding its hands together, and the one on screen is in a molt stage with wings, it is a praying mantis, one of nature's hidden beauties. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Hopefully, I'll make more of these.